Are you doing keto, cutting carbs, maybe even fasting, and yet you still feel tired, stuck, or not burning fat the way you expected? Here's what's really going on inside your body. Keto is not just a diet, it's a metabolic shift. You're asking your body to move from burning glucose to burning fat. That requires your liver, your hormones, your mitochondria, all to operate efficiently under a completely different fuel system. And here's the problem most people don't realize. When you remove carbohydrates, you don't just lose sugar, you also lose key electrolytes and micronutrients that were quietly supporting your metabolism. So instead of becoming a fat-burning machine, your body goes into stress mode, low energy, brain fog, muscle cramps, plateaued fat loss. Not because keto doesn't work, but because your body is missing critical tools it needs to run the system. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine switching your car from petrol to a high-performance fuel, but forgetting to add engine oil and coolant. The fuel might be better, but the engine won't run properly. That's exactly what happens on keto without the right supplementation. And this is where most people fail. Today, I'm going to break down the 3 non-negotiable supplements your body needs on keto. Not optional, not nice to have, but essential if you want. Consistent fat burning, stable energy, proper brain function, and long-term metabolic health. We'll also go deeper into the physiology, insulin, electrolytes, mitochondrial function, so you understand why these matter, not just what to take. And by the end, you'll have a clear, practical protocol you can start today. If this kind of science-backed, no-fluff approach to health is what you're looking for, consider subscribing, because this is exactly what we do here. Before we go deep, let's map out exactly what you're about to understand, like outlining a whiteboard before the lesson begins. These are the 6 science-backed insights we'll break down step by step. 1. Keto causes a rapid loss of electrolytes, not just water. When insulin drops, your kidneys release sodium. And where sodium goes, potassium and magnesium follow. This is the hidden root cause behind fatigue, headaches, and the keto flu. 2. Sodium is not the enemy on keto. It's essential for energy and fat burning. Low sodium increases cortisol and adrenaline, putting your body in a stress state that actually blocks fat loss. 3. Magnesium is critical for mitochondrial function and insulin sensitivity. Without enough magnesium, your cells can't efficiently produce energy, even if you're eating perfectly. 4. Potassium regulates nerve signals, muscle function, and heart rhythm. An imbalance here can lead to weakness, cramps, and poor recovery, all of which reduce metabolic efficiency. 5. Electrolyte deficiencies mimic keto failure. Many people quit keto thinking it's not working, when in reality, their body is simply undermineralized. 6. Strategic supplementation accelerates fat adaptation. When your body has the right minerals, it transitions faster into fat-burning mode, improving energy, clarity, and results. Think of these 3 supplements, sodium, magnesium, and potassium, not as add-ons, but as metabolic switches. Without them, the system struggles. With them, the system thrives. Next, we'll go deeper into the first and most misunderstood piece, why sodium is the foundation of energy on keto and how to use it correctly. Let's start with the most misunderstood and most important mineral on keto, sodium. Here's what's really going on inside your body. When you reduce carbohydrates, insulin levels drop. That's the goal. Lower insulin allows your body to access stored fat. But insulin also has another job. It tells your kidneys to hold on to sodium. So when insulin drops, your kidneys start flushing sodium out, and this happens fast, within days. Now let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of sodium like the electrical wiring of your body. It helps maintain blood volume, nerve signaling, and muscle contraction. When sodium drops too low, your body doesn't just feel a little off, it goes into compensation mode. Your adrenal glands release cortisol and adrenaline to keep you functioning. And what do those stress hormones do? They raise blood sugar and block fat burning. So ironically, Trying to eat clean and avoid salt on keto can actually slow your fat loss. What the research shows is that low-carb diets increase sodium excretion significantly, which is why many clinical keto protocols intentionally increase sodium intake. So what's the solution? Simple, but very specific. Aim for 3,000 to 5,000 millicalories of sodium per day. Start your morning with 1-2 teaspoons of sea salt in water. Add salt generously to meals, especially if you're active or fasting. And here's a powerful tool. If you feel tired, dizzy, or foggy, try a pinch of salt in water. If you feel better within 15 minutes, it wasn't lack of calories, it was sodium. If this is helping you connect the dots, consider subscribing, because understanding these small shifts is what creates massive results. Now let's move to the second non-negotiable. And this is where things get deeper: magnesium. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Every time your body produces energy, every single ATP molecule, magnesium is involved. No magnesium, no efficient energy. So even if you're eating perfect keto, even if you're fasting, your body can't fully access that energy without this mineral. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of fat as firewood. Think of your mitochondria as the fireplace. Magnesium, that's the spark. Without it, the fire doesn't ignite properly. And this is exactly why so many people on keto say, "I'm doing everything right, but I still feel exhausted." Now here's the deeper layer. Magnesium also plays a key role in insulin sensitivity. What the research shows is that low magnesium levels are strongly associated with insulin resistance, meaning your cells don't respond well to insulin and fat loss becomes harder. So even though keto lowers insulin, a magnesium deficiency can blunt that benefit. And it doesn't stop there. Magnesium also regulates the nervous system, helping shift your body out of sympathetic, stress mode, into parasympathetic, recovery mode, better sleep, lower cortisol, more efficient fat burning. So what's the protocol? Aim for 300-400 milligrams of magnesium. Daily use forms like magnesium glycinate for relaxation and sleep, or magnesium citrate if you also struggle with constipation. Take it in the evening. This supports deeper sleep and recovery. And here's a key signal: muscle cramps, eye twitching, poor sleep. These are not random symptoms. They're often magnesium deficiency signals. Now let's complete the triad. The third non-negotiable, potassium. This one is often overlooked, but it's absolutely critical. Here's what's really going on inside your body. If sodium controls the fluid outside your cells, potassium controls the environment inside your cells. And your body is constantly working to maintain this delicate balance, what we call the sodium-potassium gradient. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your cells like rechargeable batteries. Sodium sits on the outside. Potassium sits on the inside. The balance between the two is what creates electrical energy, allowing your nerves to fire, your muscles to contract, and your heart to beat properly. Now here's the problem on keto. As you lose sodium through the kidneys, potassium is often lost alongside it. And if you're not eating enough potassium-rich foods, in which many people don't, your cells start to lose efficiency. What does that look like? Muscle weakness, fatigue, heart palpitations, slower recovery, even stalled fat loss. Because when your cells don't function properly, your metabolism slows down. What the research shows is that potassium is essential for maintaining cellular energy balance and proper nerve signaling, especially during low-carb adaptation. So how do we fix this? Aim for 3,000, 4,700 milligrams of potassium per day, primarily from food. Focus on keto-friendly sources: avocados, spinach, mushrooms, salmon. If needed, use low-dose potassium supplements carefully. Never high-dose without medical guidance. And here's a powerful tip. If you're taking sodium but still feel weak or crampy, it's often not more salt you need. It's balance. If this is helping you understand your body at a deeper level, consider subscribing. I break this down daily so you can take control of your health naturally. Now let's connect the dots, because this is where most people get misled. They start keto, they cut carbs, maybe they even see some initial weight loss. And then suddenly, low energy, brain fog, cravings, plateaus, and they conclude, keto isn't working for me. But here's what's really going on inside your body. It's not keto that's failing. It's your electrolyte balance. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine trying to run a high-performance engine, but the electrical system is unstable. The fuel is there. The engine is capable, but the system misfires. That's exactly what happens when sodium, magnesium, and potassium are off. Your body shifts into survival mode. Cortisol rises, energy drops, cravings increase, and most importantly, your body becomes more resistant to burning fat. What the research shows is that low sodium and low magnesium states can increase stress hormones like cortisol, which directly interfere with fat metabolism and insulin sensitivity. So instead of burning fat efficiently, your body holds on to it. And this is why people feel, I'm doing everything right, but I'm exhausted. I can't focus. My workouts feel harder. These are not signs of failure. They are signals. Signals that your body is under-supported at the cellular level. Now here's the shift you need to make. Stop asking, why isn't keto working? Start asking, is my body properly supported to run this system? Because keto is not just about removing carbs. It's about rebuilding metabolic stability, and electrolytes are the foundation of that stability. Now let's talk about something most people completely miss. These supplements don't just prevent problems, they actually speed up fat burning. Here's what's really going on inside your body. When you start keto, your body is trying to switch fuel systems from glucose to fat. This process is called fat adaptation. And during this phase, your mitochondria, your cellular engines, are under pressure to become more efficient at burning fat and producing ketones. But here's the catch. This transition requires a stable internal environment, especially in terms of electrolytes and mineral balance. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine retraining a factory to produce a new product. If the workers are dehydrated, the الكهرباء, electricity, is unstable, and the raw materials are inconsistent, production slows down. That's your body without proper supplementation. Now here's the key insight. Sodium supports blood volume and nutrient delivery. Magnesium supports ATP production and mitochondrial efficiency. Potassium supports cellular electrical balance and muscle function. Together, they create the environment where fat burning becomes smooth and efficient. What the research shows is that when electrolyte balance is maintained during low-carb adaptation, people experience faster entry into ketosis, more stable energy levels, reduced cravings, improved physical performance. So instead of struggling through keto, you adapt faster and feel better doing it. Here's your simple protocol. Morning, water plus salt to stabilize blood pressure and energy. Midday, whole foods rich in potassium, like avocado or leafy greens. Evening, magnesium to recover, relax, and support deep sleep. Repeat daily. Consistency is what trains your metabolism. If this is helping you simplify keto and actually make it work, consider subscribing. This is the kind of practical, science-backed guidance I share every day. Now let's go one level deeper into hormones, because this is where electrolyte deficiencies become more than just feeling off. They start blocking fat loss at the hormonal level. Here's what's really going on inside your body. When sodium, magnesium, or potassium drop too low, your body perceives this as a stress signal, and your brain responds by activating the adrenal glands. This leads to the release of cortisol, your primary stress hormone. Now, cortisol is not bad. You need it. But chronically elevated cortisol, that's where the problem begins. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of cortisol like a backup generator. It's designed to turn on when energy is low, to keep essential systems running. But if that generator stays on all the time, it starts to damage the system. Now here's what elevated cortisol does. It increases blood sugar. It breaks down muscle for quick energy. It signals your body to store fat, especially around the abdomen. So even if you're doing keto perfectly, if your electrolytes are off, cortisol rises, and your body shifts from fat-burning mode into fat-storing mode. What the research shows is that low sodium intake can increase renin-angiotensin and cortisol activity, while magnesium deficiency is strongly linked to higher stress responses and poor sleep, both of which impair fat metabolism. And now it all connects. Poor sleep, higher cortisol, low electrolytes, higher cortisol, chronic stress, blocked fat loss. So what's the solution? Keep sodium consistent daily. Don't fluctuate. Take magnesium at night to calm the nervous system. Eat potassium-rich foods to stabilize cellular function. This is not just about nutrients. This is about controlling your hormonal environment. And when cortisol is stable, fat loss becomes easier, more predictable, and more sustainable. Now let's bring everything together into something practical, something you can actually follow daily without overthinking it. Because knowledge is only powerful when it becomes routine. Here's what this looks like in real life. Think of your day as a rhythm: morning, midday, evening. And in each phase, you're giving your body exactly what it needs to stay in a stable, fat-burning state. Let me walk you through it like a whiteboard plan. Morning. You wake up in a naturally dehydrated state. Cortisol is slightly elevated. That's normal. But if electrolytes are low, that stress response gets amplified. So the first move is simple: a glass of water plus 1-2 teaspoons sea salt. This immediately supports blood volume, stabilizes energy, and prevents that early fatigue or dizziness many people feel on keto. Midday. This is where you reinforce cellular balance through food. Include potassium-rich keto foods. Either one avocado, leafy greens like spinach, mushrooms, or salmon. This supports nerve function, muscle performance, and overall metabolic efficiency. Evening. Now we shift into recovery mode. Take 300-400 milligram magnesium glycinate. This helps lower cortisol, relax the nervous system, and improve deep sleep, which is where real metabolic repair happens. And here's the key principle: consistency beats intensity. You don't need extreme doses. You need daily stability, because when your body trusts that nutrients are consistently available, it stops compensating, it stops stressing, and it starts burning fat efficiently. This is how you turn keto from a struggle into a system. Let's bring this all together. Keto is powerful, not because it removes carbs, but because it resets your metabolism. It lowers insulin. It unlocks fat burning. It gives your body access to a more stable, long-term fuel source. But here's the truth most people miss. Without the right support, that system struggles. Sodium, magnesium, and potassium are not optional. They are the foundation that allows your body to maintain energy, stabilize hormones like cortisol, support mitochondrial function, and burn fat efficiently. When these are in place, everything feels different. Energy becomes steady, cravings decrease, sleep improves, and fat loss becomes more predictable, not forced. So instead of asking, why isn't keto working? You now understand the better question: is my body supported enough to run this system? And now you have the answer. Here's your challenge. Start with just one change today. Add that morning salt water, or begin magnesium at night, or increase potassium through food. Then observe your body, because your body gives feedback quickly when you give it what it needs. This is how you build awareness. This is how you build control. And ultimately, this is how you build long-term health. If this gave you clarity and real actionable value, like the video and subscribe. Join others who are not just dieting, but optimizing their metabolism naturally.